Alright, hello gamers, Mukluk here, and we are back with another episode where I have been trying all of the pure DPS dead weights in the game to see how it feels to play one of these peasants. Today we have got the HOLOSMITH. The HOLOSMITH cannot provide cannot provide quickness or alacrity. It is a pure damage dealing option, and also possibly one of the most punishing to yourself in the game if you mess it up. So first of all, just to briefly show that I have gained at least a fair to decent understanding of how this thing works. First of all, notice how right now I am not blue other than my face and my crotch. That's actually a talking point we'll come back to later. So I'm gonna activate the heat bar. We're gonna throw down some mines, and then we are going to do some stuff. I've already hit some of the wrong buttons, but that's fine, whatever. All right, so we're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna get over 100 heat. We're gonna fire my lasers, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. We're gonna leave that, and we're going to do blowtorch, glue gun, and sword 2. Go into grenade kit, use grenades 2, 4, and 5. Use sword 2 again, use blowtorch, throw mine, go back into holo, use the 3 and the 4 thing, get back over 100 heat, use laser disc, F3, F2, and leave holo before we hit 100 heat. And do that, and then use some grenade kit skills again, and leave there, and blowtorch, go back into Hollow Forge, 3, 4, throw mine, F3, F2, and leave that before we overheat. Use grenade kit. All right, we're 29.3k. And I had a few mistakes with my opener. That's just a skill issue on my part, but we were near 30k there. So, all right, there's my presentation that I know a little bit about what I'm doing. All right, first off, where did I get the build? As usual, I went to Guild Gen first because I like how she writes rotations, and I was using this and was able to get 30k on like my third attempt on the Golem. Very quickly, I was able to get 30k DPS. I then started making tweaks. They recommend running Shield, which is more for CC purposes. A lot of people in my chat were like, oh, try the pistol rotation, which is a sword pistol instead of sword shield from Snowcrows. So I tried that out. They were also using Photon Wall right here, which throws 2 more clicks because it's like you summon the wall and then a few seconds later you throw the wall. So that added a few more clicks into the rotation. So just for simplicity, I had it on throw mine, which was just 1 single click. You just throw it and it goes boom, that's it. Also, the throw mine is a CC. If you take away the shield and you take away throw mine, you have very little CC in the kit. But if you're on a fight where you need CC, you can bring shield instead of pistol. You could bring throw mine instead of photon wall. You could even bring personal battering ram, and you do have CC options. But if you're in your highest DPS setup, you don't have a lot of CC. You've got, I think, 1 on Photon Forge 5, maybe? But you don't have a lot. You don't have a lot of CC if you're running just the basic setup, but you can easily swap in CC before a fight if you need some for a specific fight. You just need to know what you're getting into. Now, I was running full Berserker gear. Let me go over to here. So we got, full Berserker armor, Berserker over here, Berserker this stuff. We got runes of the Scholar. I was using Relic of the Thief. I was using Relic of the Fireworks for a while, but I could not keep the buff up from it. Sigil of Force and Impact on the weapons. Traits was, it was that right there. How does this work for people who have never played HOLOSMITH? Okay, when HOLOSMITH came out, they were, Engineer got the sword. Now it's got like a lightsaber graphic here, but it's just any sword is fine. The sword skills, you notice the yellow text. They do more damage if you're above certain heat thresholds. This line is 50, this line is 100, and we're running a trait that gives us more heat. Otherwise it's just 50, and then 100 is like you explode. All right, so we're running this trait, so 100, and then there's a little bit of leeway before the explosion, before you get there. Now, what you want to do, anything related to HOLOSMITH, so all the sword skills, and also laser disc and prime light beam, those all drastically increase in damage if your heat is high. So if you've got your heat up, you do more damage. So what you want to do is at the beginning of the fight, you go into Photon Forge and you use your 3 and your 4 as often as possible, and then your 1 a whole lot. And that is mainly, damage. The 2 and the 5 are useful for different situations, but they are not, as good damage as just autoing. Once you get up here, you leave Photon Forge. Well, I just tried to. You leave Photon Forge before it explodes. Then while you're above that second line, you use Laser Disc, you use Prime Light Beam, you use your F3, you use your F2, and basically you go back into Forge when it's about down before this pip, okay? So you're just kind of balancing your heat between these lines. Right there, if you notice, like, when this button, right now it shows deactivate Photon Forge, right? If you watch, it will flip over. Right there. I tried to leave Forge a second ago while it was flipping over, and I could not. Because as I was pressing the button, it flipped to a different, prettier button. So there was multiple times during the content I ran with this character where I tried to leave Forge and it didn't work when I pressed it, and then a second later it overheated, and then I got hit with the punishment stuff. Let's talk about the punishment stuff. For those who don't know, HOLOSMITH, if you are in Forge and you overheat, a couple of things happen. So if you completely 100% fill the bar, which I am trying to do right now, it's going to go up here. So right there, it flipped, and then it hits full. So first of all, you set yourself on a type of like burning. You take a bunch of damage, so you give your healers more work. And second of all, you cannot go back into Forge or use your tool belt for a while. Tool belt comes back up. You still can't go in Forge until the heat's drained all the way down to 0. So I do not know of any other class that has an elite specialization mechanic where if you play it poorly, it's more punishing than this. And again, this wasn't bad to learn. On my third attempt, I was breaking 30k with this. But if you mess it up, I don't know of anyone else that's more self-punishing than this is. You know, Scourge, if you throw your shade in the wrong spot, you can just reposition the shade. It's not a big deal, you know? Soul Beast, if you accidentally unmerge, you can remerge 1 second later. This guy sets himself on fire and locks himself out of all of his strongest skills. So it's pretty nasty. It is pretty nasty. Let's talk about the notes I made while I was playing this. So, HOLOSMITH here. Snowcrows was able to get 43.3k out of it. Me playing it for just an hour or two, I was able to get 30k out of it. We were running full Berserker gear. I did the power build. There is a Condi version. It has way more kit juggling. Funny enough, it doesn't have to worry about overheating because it uses the overheat in the rotation. So in that way, it's easier, but the overall rotation for it is actually much higher because you have got way more kits that you're going to be juggling. Easy to learn, question mark. It's not bad. It truly wasn't bad. Although, you know, you got to watch that overheat thing. So you're playing like a mobile game down here in the corner, similar to Chrono. The amount of buttons that I had to press was not bad at all. It was not bad. CC, not by default, not great by default, but you can bring CC options easily. Miscellaneous utility, you have Boon Rip on Throw Mine, but other than that, not really. Is it ranged or melee? It's mostly melee, but you have a few ranged skills. Like if you've got to run out for a moment, you can, you know, like use the Photon 4, which is like a pistol unload type ability, which is nice. So you do have some options. You know, you got glue shot, you can spam grenades from the grenade kit, but it is mostly melee. How intensity was it? Like, you know, is it high intensity, low intensity? I would say it was between low and mid as far as, you know, you just got to learn the heat thing, but it was low to mid intensity to play. Did I find it fun? Not really. This is just personal preference, but for me, anytime I made a mistake and I accidentally overheated, which happened almost once per fight at some point during the fight, I'd be doing good on the damage meter and I would just drop, you know, and then I could not catch back up to the other DPS the rest of the fight, which made me feel like I was doing a bad job because they're not contributing anything else. Not giving quickness, not giving alacrity, not giving heals. I'm only giving damage. If I screw that up, I've got nothing left. So, you know, it was very, very self-punishing if you make a mistake. Aside from that, though, it was not difficult to learn. Let's talk about some glitches I encountered during it. So a moment ago, this is how you're supposed to look when you go into the mode. The blue shows that you are low heat and you are not about to, you know, explode or anything like that. Let me use a few moves here. Notice I just went to normal. I don't know why. When you get to medium heat, you're supposed to look yellow, which my face and my crotch does. Okay. And then once we get above the next line and we're over 100 heat, we're supposed to entirely look red, but the only thing heating up is my crotch right now, apparently, referring to this right here before YouTube, you know, demonetizes my video. So I was having major graphical glitches playing this character, and the visual indicators that are supposed to help you realize when you're close to overheating, I could not see them because it was just like my underpants and my head. That's it. I don't know what's going on. It would sometimes show me correctly, and other times it would would not. So the visual, I had to use the bar, which was fine. That wasn't bad. I mean, it's not like the Catalyst bar, which is like this. I had to use the bar, but it was kind of annoying because the other visual indicator, which is supposed to be like, you know, your whole body changes either blue, yellow, or red, I couldn't see them. I could not see them, so that was kind of irritating. Another note I made is playing this reminded me of playing Helldivers.
Together for victory.
Together for liberty.
Stick with me for a second. In Helldivers, there is a gun that's like a handheld railgun, and you can turn the safety off and charge it way more than it's supposed to. And if you charge it almost to the maximum before you fire, it does like 10 times the damage. But if you hit the maximum, it explodes in your hand and kills you. This felt like a class for people that love using the railgun in Helldivers, because you want your heat up here as much as possible. But if it hits here, you explode. If it hits there, you explode. So you really gotta watch that. You really gotta watch that. But yeah, overall impressions after trying it out and playing it. It was easy to learn using, you know, guild gen guides. You could get even more out of it if you wanted to try to squeeze more out of it by, you know, just lots of practice, more than I did. And, you know, you could even, you know, try to follow some of the videos on Snow Crows, stuff like that. It was pretty easy to gear. It was like, you know, it's Berserker, is mostly melee. You know, and again, I played the power version of the build. There's only one kit with this one, which is the grenade kit, but counting the photon forge, you've got 3 weapon sets that you're moving around between. Just, you know, it was very easy to pick up and go, but very, very punishing, more punishing than anything else I've played if you make a mistake. Now, when I say punishing, I just mean like you make a mistake and then you suffer for it for a time afterward. You know, there are some other examples of self-punishment in the game, like Harbinger lowers their maximum hit points, or a Necro messing up a corruption spell can put dots on themselves, but neither of those just either down you or lower your DPS in the dumpster for 10 seconds. You know, neither of those do that. So, you know, that is very much a thing to be aware of. Now, you practice this enough, you're probably almost never going to overheat. But that's the first impressions of me after trying it for a couple hours after having never played it before. I think that's it. I hope they fixed the visual glitch. I'm having it again now. And at the beginning of the video, my whole person turned blue, but now it's just my head in my pants. Yeah, all right, that's it. If you got any questions, problems, thoughts, concerns, put them in the comment section down below, and I will fight you there.